Greetings, everyone. Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is David Dault, and this is Shelter Radio. I show up around 2 p.m. Central Time each day to play music and give some commentary and make observations about the world and try and hold together on this mortal coil a little bit of sense and sanity in the midst of everything. And I've been thinking today about process, and so I want to quote one of those great texts of the Western canon, the Red Hot Chili Peppers song "Funky Crime" off of the Uplift Mofo Party Plan. The text in question begins with the interrogative, why do you do what you do? And the answer is, I do what I want to do. Well, it's not actually that simple. If you've been paying attention over the past few weeks, and why would you? But if you have been, the things that are going on here in Shelter Radio are complex. And part of that has to do with this. So what is this? These are the set lists from all the Shelter Radios that I have done, starting on March 21st and going to today. And you may notice that what it is I take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper and I fold it in half, and I write the set list, and I make some notes about things like what capos to use and things like that. But there's a lot of them. And what I've been trying to do, through this process has been twofold. One, I have been trying to play to my strengths. When my fingers were weak, I wanted to play songs that were easy to play and wouldn't require a lot of finger strength or a lot of stretch or dexterity. I also did a lot of a cappella stuff and a lot of piano stuff and a lot of stuff on the bouzouki, because I had been playing bouzouki a lot more than I had been playing guitar. But then I encountered a problem, and the problem was that the sound was crap. And so as I got the sound better, I became a little less interested in switching out instruments and a little more interested in kind of focusing on the sound. And then as the sound would get better, I would stretch out to other instruments again, and then it was this kind of process. I've been doing the same thing with the songs as well. I've been playing songs that were kind of ready to hand, that I knew I could play really, really well, but also constantly trying to stretch to songs that I either didn't know or that I had written but couldn't remember, but knew that they had some kind of funky chord patterns that I would eventually kind of figure out again. And so there's always been this kind of zone of safety, let's call it like the middle of the bullseye. And then the next ring out from the bullseye is this zone of kind of risk, but not actual danger. And then beyond that, well beyond that, was like me trying to do like Inagata Davida or some kind of Led Zeppelin nonsense or something like that, or a Michael Hedges tune. Just can't do those things. So a lot of this has been kind of growing the area of strength and moving into areas of risk. And I encourage you to be doing these same things, to be finding areas right now where you know that you've got this, and use that as kind of a base, and then build from that base to try every day a couple risky things that stretch you. And eventually those risky things will become part of your solid base. And that's what's been happening for me. And that's, so why do I do what I do? Once again, to go back to that wonderful Red Hot Chili Peppers question, I do what I do because it's what I want to do, but there's been a method to the madness. And I hope that that method has been resulting in some satisfying viewing time for you. Someone tell me why I do the things that I don't want to do. When you're around me, I'm somebody else. Someone tell me why I act like a fool when things don't go my way. When you're around me, I'm somebody else. There is good reason somebody else. Someone tell me why I act like a fool when things don't go my way. When you're around me, I'm somebody else. There is good reason, I guess, having it once gone too far. When you clean up the hive, does it make you want to cry? You're still being followed by the teenage FBI. Someone tell me why. Someone tell me why. Someone tell me why I do the things that I don't want to do. When you're around me, I'm somebody else. Someone tell me why. Someone tell me why. Someone tell me why. Greetings, Tina. Greetings, Tracy. Greetings, Kate. Greetings, whoever else is listening. Welcome to Shelter Radio. We are going to be kind of just doing everything without capos today because that was the kind of punk rock edge I felt like. Well, you get up every morning and you see it's still the same. And all the doors and all the walls and all the rest remain. Nothing changes fast enough. Your hurry days make you wanna give it up and drift into a haze. Revelations seem to be another way to make the days go faster anyway. We're all exchanging pleasantries, no matter how it feels. No one knows the difference, 'cause it all seems so unreal. You better grab a hold of something simple, but it's true. If you don't stop to smell the roses now, they might end up on you. Expectations only mean you really think you know what's coming next, and you don't. Yearbooks with their autographs, the friends you might have had. These are your important years, you better make them last. Falling in and out of love just like these are your important years, your life. Oh. Once you see the light, suddenly realize it might end up alright. It might end up alright now. Yearbooks with their autographs, the friends you might have had. These are your important years, you better make them last. Falling in and out of love just like these are your important years, your life. These are your important years, your life. These are your important years, your life. Oh, Process. You can ask yourself, what is the process behind anything? And one of the processes is simply getting out there and trying something and then making a major mistake and learning from the mistake. I am the father of 2 small children, and one of the things that I am observing come online in my 10-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old son is a continuing hesitancy to fail. My daughter, especially right now, is kind of the position that if she tries it and it doesn't work, then somehow it doesn't work perfectly, I should say, then somehow she should not have tried it at all. And one of the things that I'm trying to help her to grasp is that leads to a very kind of insulated life, and it may be a life of safety, but it is not a life that actually leads to much in the way of growth or stretching. And that sometimes those points where we fall down and those points where we swing and we miss, that actually gives us the chance to reset, reconsider, to learn from, and to learn into, lean into, God, I hate using that phrase, but lean into, learn into some new thing. Some new thing. And the rest is simple tricks and nonsense, right? You fail, you learn, and the rest you kind of fake. And occasionally, after a decade or so of that process, you actually learn something solid that you can then kind of build on. And everybody's doing that. So don't ever think that you can't participate. You live beneath another star. You are pretending love is worth waiting for. You always breathe another air. Those rivers in the distance must be leading somewhere. He'd wave. Why is it rolling down on the young and foolish? He'd wave. Are we rich or poor? Does it matter anymore? He'd wait. Can this be all we will desire? Straw houses in the promised land. Why is it time for taking sides when all I say and do is take too many chances? He'd wait. Why is it rolling down on the young and foolish? He'd wait. Are we rich or are we poor? Does it matter anymore? In a heat wave. Will I tell you? Will you listen? If I tell you, what will happen? He'd wave. Why is it rolling down on the young and foolish? He'd wave. Are we Fake it till you make it, just like you said, Kate. Absolutely. All right. Speaking of faking it till you make it, while I'm busy faking it, if this distracts you and you want something else in terms of variety, please do check out Zach Zaya's Poetry Lockdown each day around 4 p.m. His last name is spelled C-Z-A-I-A, the Poetry Lockdown. Good stuff. It's good for your soul. Poetry is the glue that sticks the universe together. It is the motor power behind all invisible things. So fill your days with poetry and you will be well served. Also, if you fill your days with 70s, 80s, and 90s piano-based rock and roll, you'll also be well served. And you can get that from Matt Springer's Quarantine Cabaret, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And Matt is doing the tunes on piano. Please also check out Kimono My House, which is a chance for you to watch Southern and otherwise acts for an hour at a stretch, doing their thing like as if you were at a club. So little curated concerts through Kimono My House. No set schedule, but if you join them, you will get updates on what's playing when. Please also check out my friend Leo Huang, H-W-A-N-G. He plays intermittent awesome guitar, both acoustic and electric, here on the Facebook Live. Do also check out on Instagram Live my friend Dr. Rahuldeep Gill, a professor from Cal Lutheran out in LA. Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. He does an Instagram Live-based talk show called Deep in This. So check out Rahuldeep Gill. Jonathan Brooke on Mondays at 2 p.m. Central is doing the Kitchen COVID concerts. So check her out. Jonathan spelled like Jonathan, but without the N. Brian E. Smith is spinning house music and DJing Fridays starting at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and he goes all night long. And also please do check out Discord Records' 40-year catalog online for free. For free. What are you going to do about that? I was thinking earlier today, somebody, Ipsita Chatterjee, asked me a question on Twitter about whether or not I thought Kermit the Frog was punk rock. And what I said to her was that I thought that if Kermit was punk, and I'm not saying he is, I'm not saying he isn't, but if Kermit was punk rock, he would definitely be DC punk rock. He would definitely be much more Fugazi than Flipper. He wouldn't be like Bay Area jokester band or kind of like serious LA hardcore. He wouldn't be that. He'd be like Fugazi. He'd be like straight edge and always following the rule of only charging $4 for a show. Like that's Kermit the Frog to a T. And then I thought about it a little bit more and I realized that Gonzo the Great, is neither DC punk scene nor is he West Coast, Bay Area, LA punk scene. Gonzo the Great is the Akron, Cleveland punk scene circa 1978, completely. Do with that what you will. Well, I got both feet planted firmly in my mouth, so I ain't walking. They both take up so much space, it's a marvel that I still got room for talking. But I just go on spouting off the same old stupid stuff. I'm gonna have to grow another foot just to keep up, just to keep up. Well, do not disturb hangs on the door. I hide inside, I do not say a word. Opportunity comes knocking, I ignore it, pretend I have not heard. I get so tired of being chased by my problems every day. I'm gonna have to grow another foot just to get away, just to get away. Get away, I get away. In the sun and in the rain, I find that I'm just the same. I'm not really chasing pleasure, simply dodging pain. I move glacially, I put my best foot forward, but I find it inching back on me. say you give a man an inch and sure as death and taxes he'll ask for a yard. Since I found these 3 feet useful, I suppose I am described by that canard. But when I go out dancing now, I've found a great excuse. First I tell you I got 2 left feet, then I'll show you the proof. Here's the proof. I got the proof. I say 1, 2, 3, 3 feet for me, that's the truth. Alrighty then. Whew, I hope everybody's doing okay today. I hope that wherever you are, the sun is out, at least in your soul, if not in the actual environs where you are. It's been kind of a mixed day today here in Chicago. The sun is out, a little bit of cloud cover, but earlier today, in the continuing kind of money-wasting hellscape that is the American federal government, we had the Blue Angels come and do a double flyover here in Chicago. So they basically roared across the sky twice. And as a person with post-traumatic stress disorder, I had been warned by my wife, who knows me well, to be prepared for this. But even so, when it happened, it was jarring. So, you know, something unspeakably loud suddenly sitting on your head. So thank you to the federal government for scaring my amygdala twice today. I'm grateful for that. I guess that's a useful thing to do to a citizen, is to frighten their amygdala, to make their rat brain cringe. So that's what happened today. Yay us. Here another raindrop falls like tinfoil. Here another teardrop falls like lead. Bet you want to recount, faulty on the dismount, bouncing dreams around your head. Better draw me up a blueprint, fill me in the details. There's something here I've missed, going forward with a big plan, bring along a dustpan. For the man who dares resist, shut your mouth. Devil's got a phone book, shut your mouth. Calling you, collecting, there's a question you don't want to answer, shut your mouth now. Martin in the foyer, hand on the receiver, making him an offer he will not refuse. Hiding as a cockroach underneath the carpet or behind the paper on the wall, Martin puts the receiver down and turns around, walks back down the hall. Hey, shut your mouth. Now we've got your number, shut your mouth. Now we're killing time and there's a question you've already answered, shut your mouth now. And to answer your query, Julia, that song is incredibly fun to play. Actually, this speaks to something that you asked about earlier, Julia. You mentioned that you like kind of the Bob Mould songs, and I played a Bob Mould song earlier, but one of the things that I read in an interview with Bob Mould that stuck with me was he said that he really started to get interested in playing guitar when he took the standard chords and started trying to play them backwards, and that has been part of my shtick in terms of writing songs ever since I read that. That and a couple things by Peter Gabriel and a couple of other things by some other artists on Creative Process. But doing like all the different things that I do with that song is all stemming from that notion of trying to play things backwards, and it's an awful lot of fun to play because it gets you somewhere without kind of showing you where you're going. And I mean that as a person playing it. Like as my fingers are doing it, I'm like, this just feels neat. It just feels neat. So I got one more, and then I'll be heading out. But I'm grateful for everybody. There's lots of folks that have been showing up today, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you. And for those that don't show up in real time, but instead show up asynchronously, to use that technical term that we've all learned now from Zoom, I'm grateful for you asynchronous viewers too. You are not forgotten in all of this. So, if you pay attention to what my fingers do, and why would you? But if you do, you realize probably that I'm a really huge fan of chords that are shaped like C chords, where the thumb cheats around like this and does the lower bass string. So I was doing something like that for when I play Teenage FBI. Like, I totally use that with my chord. When I play All the Young Dudes, like that's yeah, but that's all part of what I do. Is like, this is my thing, and I learned that chord structure, or I figured it out, again, trying to play chords backwards or just do weird things with chords. I started doing that when I was about 16, 17 years old, and continued to do it through college. And so for years, I had this thing going through my head. Hold on, I'm going to make sure that I'm not missing any comments here. But I had this thing going through my head that went like this. And I just loved that riff, and I would play it, and then I added some other stuff to it. It'd be like, and so I had this entire structure kind of worked out, but had no idea what to kind of do with it until I started playing with this really amazing bass player by the name of Thad Thompson. And for a while, he and I were in a band together called Parks and Empty Spaces, which was an interesting group to be in, because it opened me up, because of the drummer Matt Glagala. It opened me up to a lot of music that I had never listened to before, and so I was introduced to stuff like Hey Mercedes, and through that I got into Braid and a lot of the kind of math rock and emo stuff that was happening when I was in grad school but didn't really pay attention to. And so I'm grateful for that, because as a process of that, this crazy riff ended up getting some words, and so that's the song I'm going to play now. 100 miles of railroad ties, inch before the Flint cut. Fires are stoked to build the steam. I wonder what that engine dreams. Come back to me once again, where men raise high the telegraph lines. I'm seeing shapes in the kudzu vines. all the thought that weighs it down. Journeys start and journeys end, and I'm lost in engine dreams again. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. I've had a lot of fun kind of talking off the top of my head and stringing together these ideas, this kind of stream of consciousness. I'm so grateful for the generosity of your time and the fact that you show up and that you pay attention and that you're interested and that you comment and you interact. I'm grateful for each and every one of you, whether you are synchronous or asynchronous. I'm grateful for you. When you give me suggestions, when you encourage each other, when you share this with friends, thank you for all of that. Please keep taking care of yourself. Please keep sheltering in place. It's so important to flatten the curve. It's not about ending the virus. It's about not putting a strain on our infrastructure. Please do keep doing that, not just for your loved ones, but for the least of these, the ones that you can't see, the most vulnerable among us. The most important work that we can do is that work. Thank you especially for being you and for being part of my life. I love you. I miss you. I can't wait till we can be together again. We can look one another in the face. We can dance. We can embrace. We can tell each other we made it. I'm looking forward to that. But until then, I'll be back tomorrow at around 2. I'm proud of you. I love you. I'll see you then. Thanks.